Well, you think about spring, you think about the first things that you see that are blooming out in the garden, and lilacs come to mind. They're just beautiful and they smell so fragrant.
Aren't they just synonymous with spring?
Yeah.
Once you smell that fragrance of a lilac, you're there. You're ready to go. And we've got some great aromatic lilacs, the French lilacs, and this one happens to be Lavender Lady. And it's a lighter color, you know, it's got a little bit of hue of purple and some whites in it. Very, very fragrant. Then behind that, we've got the dwarf variety of Bloomerang. Bloomerang is the one that hit the trade about 2 or 3 years ago, and this one is a repeat bloomer. So it'll bloom 2 or 3 times during the season, and it's got that really wonderful aromatic smell. The flowers are a lot smaller, compare that to Lavender Lady, but still very, very fragrant.
Now, am I right in that they need a more acidic soil?
They actually can take around 7 pH,
Okay.
so it's more neutral. Even a touch of alkaline, but they like a well-drained soil. They
Okay.
don't want wet feet. So when you plant your lilacs, you really need to use some compost to make sure that soil is well-drained. But the pH doesn't seem to be as much of a problem, which I think is good.
Okay.
I was happy about that. The other lilac that we have, and this one is trying to show itself, it's kind of budded and trying to open a little bit. This is Miss Kim. It's a Korean lilac. It's more heat tolerant, but it's a little bit shorter than what the French varieties would be. So if you've got a smaller yard, you might want to opt to go with Miss Kim. And then we also have her in patio tree form, or you can do her in a shrub form and keep her pruned down. But if you want to scale down, if you want a whole spring bouquet, you might come down from the lilacs to the azaleas.
Those look gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing? I love, this is a rose Gerard, fuchsia Gerard. Isn't that beautiful?
The color is just intense.
I'm going to talk about 2 different kinds of azaleas. Right here, we've got the chrome. We got the chrome white. This is actually a snow, chrome snow. And then we've got the Gerards. These 2 types of azaleas bloom one time and they blow it all in spring. They give you everything they've got in spring, and it really, really is amazing. Then I like to mix them up a little bit with some maybe encores or bloomerangs. And what we'll start with is the bloomerang. This one is new, but last fall is when it first started coming out. This is a lavender bloomerang, and look at the bloom on that.
That is fantastic.
And then we have a pink. This is a pink double. The deal with the bloomerangs is they've come in the trade after the encores have, and they're supposed to be a little bit more compact and better bloomer than what the encores maybe be. And then here we've got our encore, and this one happens to be Autumn Moon, which is another white, which I think is amazing. And then we also have a royalty. Again, and now these will bloom sporadically. I've got these in my yard as well as some spring bloomers, so I get both the best world. And over here, I could not resist, we've got the magnolias, and the magnolias go up. This is a deciduous magnolia, unlike the southern magnolia that's evergreen. This one has a big bouquet of flowers in the spring and can get up into tree form. So that is really, really beautiful.
And the flowers on that are just spectacular. Oh,
And-
so pretty.
Yeah, and you know, while we're dealing with acidic soil, which we are with azaleas, you want a lower pH, like around 5, we can talk about blueberries, because blueberries, people think about the nutritional value of blueberries. They're also very ornamental and sometimes semi-evergreen. We won't call them evergreen, but we'll say semi-evergreen. The beauty behind the blueberries is they get these really pretty white bell-shaped flowers in the spring. And then our bountiful blueberry has already developed blueberries, is starting to. And this is a real tasty, medium-sized blueberry. These 2 varieties, this one's pink lemonade, which is very heat tolerant and good for this area. And then so is the bountiful. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, and lemonade's going to be a little bit taller. And you can tell just even the difference of the leaf structure. I definitely am going to have both of these in my garden. I love blueberries and I love to pick them. So next, you know, we're so familiar with the dogwoods and the red buds and different things like that. What I really would like to turn people onto is the serviceberry. And so this one's this is the tree form, this one's Autumn Brilliance. Very cold tolerant. The neat thing about the serviceberry is it goes up into tree form, gets its beautiful white flowers, gets some blackberries, which are edible and you can make jellies and jams out of, or the birds love them. So if you love to attract birds to your yard, you are definitely going to use a serviceberry. Now here's the beauty of it. If you want a serviceberry and you might not have enough space or you've got a different situation, you could go columnar with this beautiful rainbow pillar. Serviceberry that only gets about 4 feet wide or so and can get up to about 12 feet tall.
Wow.
You can have the benefit of the serviceberry, or you can go shrub form. This is Regent, 4 to 6 feet tall. So you can line a fence line with this one and attract the the wildlife and eat the berries also. The viburnums are making a comeback because they're easy. and people really like the viburnums.
When I love this one, it's so compact and it's so pretty.
It's one of my favorites. This one's Spring Bouquet, and I really, really love the show that it puts on. And then back, I need to talk about tree form one more time. This one is a Crimson Pillar plum, or Crimson Point plum, I'm sorry. This one grows very erect and very columnar. So if you have that angle on your house that you need some color, it gets red foliage. The foliage is trying to show itself, but it gets a red foliage. So you've really got year-round or seasonal interest. 3 seasons of interest with this tree, and then you have it in a columnar form when you don't have a very wide area that.
So, like maybe as you're walking into the front of the house, like maybe there's a flower bed off to the side, you could have something there that's ornamental.
Yeah, and actually you could flank both sides if you'd like. Then we cannot do this without talking about the Indian hawthorns. We've got so many different varieties of Indian hawthorns. We're at the top of their cold tolerance, so you really want to get them planted and water them really deeply. You need, this is where you need to practice watering slow and long so that you can get a good root structure going. But the Indian hawthorns have, this one's blueberry muffin. You see these elongated leaf. Then you've got dwarf pink with the pink flowers and pretty foliage. Then you've got snowcap. Again, this one's white flowers, a little bit bigger than the dwarf pink. More cold tolerant. Snowcap is very cold tolerant, gets a little bit of a red tint to it. And look at the, I love blueberry muffin. I love the way that one looks, and it's more compact and cold hardy. And then we're gonna end up the segment with the bridal wreath spirea. This is an old time grandma's favorite. Gets so big and beautiful in the spring. I love this spirea.
That's a Southern Living picture right there.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, Cindy, thank you for showing us some of the wonderful flowering trees and shrubs that just herald spring.
Thank
Terrific.
you, Jennifer.
Thanks.